Tom, do you have a second? I wanted to ask you something for our Chris Cuomo for News Nation. He had talked to you about coming to visit Delaney Hall.
Yeah.
Can you assure us that you can help get him and News Nation access to interview there?
To where?
Delaney Hall with Chris Cuomo.
Well, that's not my call. That'd be ICE's call. But we got to remember, the state and the local community just sued on that facility. So let the lawyers work with them. I mean, I was up there. A lot of congressmen. The governor's just there. Did she have anything bad to say about the conditions? No, she just said she should have access to detainees. Did she say it was dirty, it was unkept? No, she didn't have anything there to say other than she didn't get the access she thought she needed. She needs to understand she just filed a lawsuit. So we'll deal with it in court.
You'll be open to having him come, though, if it does work out.
Look, I like Chris, and Chris wants to go do some things. I got no problem doing it, but this is in litigation, so I got to leave it up to attorneys on how they want to move forward on that.
Mr. Holman, have you spoken with other governors about preserving 287G agreements in place?
Well, ICE is, of course, I've talked to many governors, but ICE is in charge of the 287G program. We've increased the 287G agreements over 1,000%, and I think it's a great program. I mean, it's a lot of people say, well, they think it's a racist program. It's a colorblind system. If I go to a 287G jail and I get arrested, I'm going to be put through the program. So, but what people don't understand, when you get booked into jail, you get run through NCIC for criminal history. At the same time, you run through DHS databases. So if we have a record on you, like we have a warrant of deportation, or you've been deported before, or we have a warrant of arrest, that just shows up. So we know, based on this technology, that this illegal alien, we know right now we have a warrant for arrest that's sitting in this county jail. And it's great to have these county jails work with us. So 287G program, it's a great program. It's proved very effective, and we want to expand it even further.
How far back do these cases go?
What cases?
Like where you have cases that are people who have these kinds of records and they've been on for a long time. How far back are we in the legal system?
Well, the secure communities came in play, I think, in 2004. So we've had, so secure community's been around for about 20 years. But look, we got people with outstanding warrants of deportation been over 20 years. They're not off the table. They've had the due process in front of a federal judge. They've been ordered removed. And, if we find them, we'll remove them. We're going to follow court order.
Can you confirm whether or not you've caused some of the deportation to African countries?
I don't comment on that.
Border crossings have dramatically fallen, but you argue the job isn't finished. What's the biggest remaining threat of the border today?
We got to finish technology. The smart wall. Walls save lives. Walls slow down entry. There's more wall to be built, but President Trump has given CBP the big beautiful bill. We got funding from Congress to finish that wall by the end of his administration, and it makes sense. Walls save lives. And a lot of people say, how do you say wall saves lives? Because women and children can't get over that wall, which means they go to a place where there's not a wall. And what's waiting on them? The men and women at the Border Patrol who take care of their medical needs, a lot of them in bad shape when they get here. So walls work. And also, walls stop drug flow. Walls stop, look, under President Trump, the most secure border in our lifetime, sex trafficking is an all-time low. Lives are being saved every day. Under Joe Biden, over 4,000 aliens died making that journey, an historic record. 250,000 Americans died from fentanyl coming across that border, an historic record. Sex trafficking, women and children were sky high. Joe Biden's policies weren't humane. The most humane thing you can do is secure the border. Secure border saves lives. And one of the reasons we have the most secure border, because of what ICE is doing. They're sending a message across the world. There's no free ride here anymore. Enter this country illegally is a crime, and we're going to enforce their laws.
What is the biggest lesson that you've learned from this job?
That I can't believe we're in a world today where members of Congress would stand there and vilify ICE, call them racist, secret police, and just not members of Congress, some governors, some mayors. It's sickening that especially members of Congress will compare ICE to the Nazis and secret police and racists when they're simply enforcing the law that they wrote. So if that makes ICE a racist, what's that make them? They wrote the law. It's disgusting.